this video is going to have some fucked up shit in it because the whole show revolves around brutally murdering people. So that's your trigger warning. Okay, realistically, not everything in this show is shoot 'em up and blood and gore. There's actually some really, really nice storytelling pieces in this, and that's why I've decided to do my one marvelous scene on one of the last scenes in season one in the last episode where Castle sends Lieberman off to see his family, and I'm calling it the van scene, for lack of better words. But before we kind of jump into it and I start talking about it, I'm going to play the clip start to finish uninterrupted so anyone who's not familiar can see it and know what the fuck is up.
You guys, come here.
Oh, come. Oh, that looks
Yeah.
so good.
Oh my god, this is gonna be great, Mom. Hold it. Oh my god, you put it over there, Leo.
3 days of depositions and testimony, and then walking homeland through all that stuff, and I'm like just thinking about this moment right now. I'm nervous. Am I being an asshole here? Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's do this.
David, I'm not coming. You know. You know why I can't. Do it, buddy.
They're here.
Okay.
Come on. Where's Pete?
Come on.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's done one of these on The Punisher. I know people have messed around with the TV series. I know a couple people have done a few from Daredevil. I've never watched Daredevil. I'm sure it's good though. But no one has done one from The Punisher, so we're gonna give it a try. The scene gives a lot of insight into Castle's character. It shows that he's a man that's broken beyond repair. He's been dealt a very bad hand in life. And he knows that because of what's happened to his family that he has to live a different kind of life. And ever since Maria and the kids were murdered, that he now has to play by this whole new set of rules in order to live and survive. But he doesn't really want to accept that because he knows that he can't change that, and he's still holding on, what happened to his family and the murders. And he knows that he can't change that, his new life, and it's in this very scene where he fully comes to terms with those circumstances and prepares to live with it. Whereas throughout the entire first season, it seems as if he's running from that, still in shock from the death of his family. A lot of the first season, you can tell that Castle resents Lieberman for having a family like his, and also had a lot of anger towards him for up and leaving his family the way he did, even though he didn't really have a choice. He thought that Lieberman was selfish and thought that if he was in Lieberman's shoes, he wouldn't have done that. But then in the first few episodes, Castle is in Lieberman's shoes when he goes to the house and confronts Sarah and does all that stuff. And in a way, those encounters are like Frank distracting himself from having to come to terms with this new life and new way of thinking now that his family's gone. And his encounters with Sarah aren't just for her, they're for him, because he's using them to try to regain what he's lost. And he realizes pretty quickly that that's not possible and that his fate is inevitable. And in this scene, when he sends Lieberman off into the house and tells him that he can't come with him, is really when Castle comes to terms with his new life and understands that he can't get his old life back. And now that he's exacted his revenge on Rollins, he's more easily accepting of these things. And it's really this that propels Frank Castle into the lone gunslinger type persona that he's more known for in the comics and in previous adaptations of his character. And going back to what we were touching on before, it's in this scene when he sends Lieberman into the house that he really learns to let go. And it's in this scene, as the first season winds down, that Castle realizes that now that Rollins and the team are dead, that him and Lieberman don't really have these similar mutual interests anymore. And now that he's got his family back, Castle and David just have very, very different lives that aren't really compatible with each other. And they both have to live them on their own. And now that Castle's grown as a character and come to accept Lieberman, he's okay with sending him off into living that life without any real anger or resentment towards him. And that's a huge stepping stone into Castle growing as a character. And even allows him to start season 2, driving through Michigan, trying to maybe find a piece of that life that David has in a healthy way, not out of anger or resentment, but in just a positive, neutral way, trying to start over. And his short-lived relationship with Beth is evidence of that, and the fight in the bar just really signifies that that's not really possible for his character, as depressing as it is, but it shows that he tried in an honest, neutral, non-objective way, and his failure is really a whole different discussion. But the scene on the bed when he says, "My past is my past, and it doesn't matter," is just really evidence that after season 1, Frank's really learned to let go and try to live this new life and deal with these new obstacles in a healthy way. But unfortunately, he can't do that because, what fun would the show be if Frank was a family man?